With another amazing episode of Security Happy Hour. I am your host, the Cyber Warrior. This is CyberWarriorStudios. As always, you know where to find us every single week without fail. Now, because it's a Thursday, I know it's going to be a little while to get people in here, so please share this video. That way people know to come here because this is not my normal day. Now, otherwise, look, I love you all, and I promise we'll be right back. And we're back. And with me this evening, I have a good friend, my brother, fellow veteran, Josh Mason. But before we get to you, Josh, we need the official sound of starting Security Happy Hour. So, all right, there it is. So how you doing, Josh?
Hey, I am doing great.
You know, you like kept me waiting till the last minute today. I'm like, did you lose like all military bearing? And like, you know what? Screw showing up early anymore. I'm gonna come in 5 minutes late. It'll be okay.
I'm a captain. I just show up.
That explains it. That explains it.
I show up when it starts. Because often it was started when I got there.
That's right. So how you, man, what's been going on? Because I know when we first talked, when we first started talking, you were doing cyber supply drop. Am I right? Are you still doing that?
Yes. So I think last time I was on, I think I was still teaching at Jacobs.
Yeah.
I am, and then I went to INE and built out EJPT. And then I went and tried my carrying a bag as a sales engineer at SimSpace, and that was fun. But now I'm a consultant at Nuvik Solutions, working with our pen tester team.
Okay, nice. Yeah, there was a lot of drama with that whole INE job, man. There was some online wars going back and forth for a little while there.
There was, cybersecurity drama, you know.
But nah, man, it's good to have you on as always. I always love your posts. You know, everybody does things different and wants to present a different personality or present their brand in a different way. So the way you go about doing things, I appreciate. And I know a lot of other people do, because even though I'm in the industry, even though I'm a practice manager now, I don't put out a lot of cybersecurity information online. Most of my information is all just to help people with their mental headspace. Because I know that in this industry, we deal with it a lot. I mean, that's across the board, but in general, we see a lot of burnout here. So that's kind of the way I approach things. I don't want to be like everybody else, because I'm not everybody else.
I get that.
So that's just kind of like how I've rebranded myself over the years. And, you know, what I really look forward to doing every day is helping people with their mental wellness and mental welfare. Well, we've got a few people here already. So look, hey, if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Well, you can't comment yet because it's live, but you know, if you come back and watch the recording after. But feel free to jump in chat, say some things, ask some questions. We're going to get them as many answered today as we can, I promise. Now, saying that, I did say this was going to be about mentorship and training, because I have seen a lot of what you've been doing. I mean, me and you both love JJ Davey and kind of what he's doing. And so many others out there, you know. So when it comes to mentorship, do you take on more of that mentor role in public, or is it more for you? Is it more at work, kind of the people that you know? Like, how do you go about doing it?
It ends up being a mix. It's mostly in public. A little bit of my role at Nuvik Solutions, I end up being a little bit of an outlier. So I've been able to come in from a different perspective than most of our really technical guys. And like kind of bring a little bit of that Air Force perspective to things. And so been able to help with like marketing a little bit and work on processes here and work on some of our procedures there, kind of just hone in some things. It's nice because we're a small company, we're growing. And so there's been a lot of let's do the stuff, do the stuff, do the stuff. And we're getting to the point of like, okay, cool. What works, what doesn't work? Let's write that stuff down and then let's iterate off of that. So it's been fun. And then you've seen a lot of my stuff on LinkedIn. I put out a 30-day challenge because, I believe putting stuff out on LinkedIn, being part of the community and participating is what gets you jobs in today's workforce. So trying to just get people to do that. And some folks, I told them, hey, if you make it through 30 days of posting like this, then you can have an hour of my time. So far, we've kicked off a few of those mentoring sessions for folks who have made it through. I started short because I didn't want to overwhelm people with like an expectation of trying to hold conversation with me for an hour.
I think I'm one of the only people that can do that. Let's be honest. I can hold a conversation with just about anyone for an hour, if not more. But no, that's awesome, and I love seeing that because me and you, and if not while you were on the show, at least afterwards, me and you have talked about the importance of networking and social media and your brand and presentation and everything else. And so having that challenge, I think, is very valid because myself, right now, as a practice manager and in a role where eventually as I open up positions, I'll be doing hiring and things of that nature. That's what I look at. And that's what I tell everybody that I'm interviewing for senior positions right now. I've told them, I said, well, what's your brand? What are you online? Can I find you? What's going on? Because I care more about that and your community involvement and what you give back, especially if it's, for our juniors that are in the chat right now, learning in public and posting, commenting, like, am I seeing your name? Because if I'm not seeing your name and I don't know who you are, that means I got to go digging. And let's be honest, I am in back-to-back meetings almost every day. It is getting very, very difficult to maintain my ability to dig. It is getting very hard. So I got to
very, very true.
The names we see are the names we remember.
Oh man. And someone hit me up this morning and I feel bad because I haven't replied, but they were like, hey, I see you're posting all this stuff. What can I do to get started in cybersecurity? And even what I usually do when someone DMs me of like, go check out my profile because I put it right there for you. I haven't even been able to have the time to type that out. Yeah. So it's hard. I do appreciate a lot of the people who come up with like real quality questions or participate in the things that we post or folks who are here like listening and participating in chat. Like that's a good sign that they actually do care enough.
Right. And we do have a few, I got a few that just say LinkedIn user. Peter Lee is here from LinkedIn. I got to be honest, for anybody who is on LinkedIn right now watching this, understand I cannot chat back to you. I cannot send a message to you. And there are quite a few here that just say LinkedIn user. So I don't know your name. If you would like to be seen, you have to be doing one of two things, either following and liking my LinkedIn page or come over to YouTube, sign in, and that way we can see everything. Those are the only two options because if you're on LinkedIn and you're not following me on my company account for CyberWarriorStudios, then I can't see anything. So just letting you all know. But for all those that are on LinkedIn and are here, I appreciate you all. Very rarely does LinkedIn get a lot of viewers. Normally they all come over to YouTube. So good to see you all.
I added my LinkedIn.
There it is. There it is.
Hey, Tim.
So it is good to see everybody here. I appreciate you all. Misha says, I follow Josh, love his content, definitely helpful. Misha is another one of my warriors, been around for a while. We've been talking for probably over a year now. And with ups and downs, highs and lows, she's been getting at it. So I can't complain one bit. Been doing a ton of stuff and just trying to find her way in. Andrea's here. Peter Lee. That's the first time I've seen Peter. Alana's here. I love Alana. She's always here.
Peter's about to retire out of the Air Force.
At least she chose the good branch. I retired out of the Army. I can't claim it was a good one, but I can claim it was a one.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, with that, mentorship is huge. And I think a lot of people go about it the wrong way, both mentors and mentees. I think we both sides of the coin kind of make mistakes along the way until they find their footing.
Oh, yeah.
In your eyes, what is the worst question you can be asked by someone?
As a mentee or like as a
you're
mentor from a mentee? What do I do to get started? Because it depends. Like, that's gonna be my answer. It depends. Like, I need some lead in. I need some warm up. I need to know like what the background is and what the goal is. Like, because learning some basics, like, okay, if you know nothing, go figure out what a computer is and what TCP/IP means. And then if you got that, okay, now where do you want to go from there? Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those, it's just so vague.
It is. That is one of the hardest questions for me. When people always ask me, how do I get started in cybersecurity? How do I get into cybersecurity? How do I, X, Y, and Z with cybersecurity? And they go general with the entire industry, is when I go, well, what do you want to do? And if you don't have an answer for me, then, depending on how you approach this situation, like if we have a rapport and we've talked and I know your background and kind of what you're doing, then okay, I can give some guidance. But if you literally just message me out of the clear blue and that is your question, I've got nothing for you. I'm going to tell you, figure out what you want to do.
And Kev just mentioned this. I don't like when people won't take the 5 minutes to like Google, but it's even, for me, it's worse than that, because my page has a whole bunch of stuff like that I made specifically to answer that question. Like, here, your general broad, where should you start? Here, right here. It's featured on my page. You just find my face, you scroll down a little bit, it's right there. So that's one of those ones when I get into my DMs, I'm just like, what?
And that's one of the big things for me. And that was so I'm gonna equate this, and it's probably a bad comparison, but I'm gonna make the comparison anyways because I think it's hilarious. And so I had someone clone my aunt's Facebook account at one point. I knew it was a clone. I knew she never recreated her account, nothing. But I said, hey, I'm going to accept this friend request, and I'm going to let this person message me. And we're going and talking and talking and talking. And I said, homie, have you done any research? He's like, well, I'm like, no, really. Have you even looked at what I do for a living? Because it is point blank on my Facebook page, everything I do. Do you really want to play this game? And now is when he was like, he said something. He goes, we should work together. Dude, if you can't even do your own research, I'm not doing it for you. No. And I treat everything the same way. If you want to go into business with me, if you want to do something with me, what research have you done?
Yeah.
What do you bring to the table? And if you can't tell me that, then you better have a good rapport with me and have built up this friendship and this willingness to actually get to know who I am and what I'm about. Because and allow me to get to know you. Because if I don't know you at all, I'm going to tell you to go hit Google.
Yeah. Man, but a great way to get started is, as soon as you know what is like kind of required to get into cybersecurity, let other people know. That goes back to like that post on LinkedIn, like make tweets, get on Reddit, or be on Discord, be in chats on live streams like this. And then when people ask those questions, if you can be the guy or the girl or the person who gives those answers, then you become part of the chain. You become part of that mentorship chain, and it'll strengthen you up. And then you get known for being that helpful person. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That's how I got started in all this.
Right. So Zarn AR, Infinite and Probability AI, he has a question. What attributes do you think are most important as a mentor? And what attributes do you think are most important as a protege and or mentee, however you want to word it? So for you, as someone like myself that mentors a lot of people, what do you think the most important attributes are?
Man, as a mentor, I'm looking up something real fast. I think back to Top Gun. The Air Force version of that is weapons school. It's where your senior instructor pilots or your like high skilled instructor pilots go to then learn how to become like the top instructor pilots. It's kind of like getting a master's degree in flying over 6 months as once you're already a seasoned pro. But then you're tagged as a weapons officer. You wear a special patch like weapons school graduate, and there's a motto that goes along with it, because then you're looked at as the people who kind of set the tone for what the rest of like the flying community looks like and smells like and sounds like. And I think it's humble, approachable, and one other. Humble, approachable, and credible. So if you're going to be a mentor, that tends to be my thing. Be humble, be approachable, and be credible. So back things up. Like there's some people, we've seen them, they just spew stuff. And you're like, well, where'd you get that from? I mean, there's plenty of those folks who then we have to. I know, like Kev's in here. I know you've run into this where you're like, no, you don't need that cert. You don't need a degree. You don't need to do that, this, and the other in order to get that job. Like, where'd you hear that? It's those folks who bug me and worry me because they're not being like, where are they getting their stuff? How are they being credible? So.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's one of the biggest things is we see such a push. And I don't know, sometimes I worry about our industry because we all know coming up in cybersecurity, coming up in IT, and even for those that transferred over into cybersecurity and or IT later on in their career fields, they know that there is so much information available online. YouTube is the school of YouTube is fucking amazing. For anybody who does not know, KevTech IT support, Bearded IT Dad, or Azure IT Dad, whatever. I can't remember his name right now. Textual Chatter. Like there are so many people out there that are doing amazing things for free. So to sit here and say you need a certification or you need a degree, no, you just need to show me you've given an effort. Put forth the effort to learn. And that is where your learning in public comes into play, because if somebody says, hey, have you seen this person? And I haven't seen them, not a worry. I'm going to do a quick search on LinkedIn or on Google or Twitter or DuckDuckGo or something. And I'm going to see what pops up.
Yeah.
And if nothing, no content, no nothing pops up, nope, never seen them, never heard of them, don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Now, if I see them, I see they're commenting on your posts or maybe Misha's or KevTech's, and they're collaborating and they're talking and they're working together, that's when I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, let me talk to Kev real quick and see what he has to say. Or let me talk to Josh. Or let me talk to Misha. Or let me talk to Andrea or whomever. I'm going to talk to these people. And if I can do that and figure more out about a person, I can say, oh, yeah, I trust them.
Yeah.
If I don't trust you, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to get past the interview phase, because now I got to take you at your word, and I haven't seen you deliver anything.
Yeah. And I don't want to sound like I'm whining or we're whining about stuff. This question, what attributes do you think are most important as a protege? Like you laid it out. Someone who's done the work that they can, that they've done something. One of those things with those weapons school officers or weapons officers, they're instructors. And so you come to them with like, hey, I don't know, like C-130 stuff. Sorry. What drop altitude I need to be at for this drop? And they'll be like, okay, well, what does the book say? Like what's different from this one from the others? It's like, well, the book says that it's going to be this, or it's that, or it's the other. But this is like a weird case. And so I'm not exactly sure. It's like, okay, awesome. Yeah. So that is a weird case. Let me go show you.
Yeah.
But you've walked in like you've done the legwork that you could, right?
Mm-hmm.
That one, it's written somewhere. It's pretty spelled out. The rest of that, yeah, that's what people who've been there are for. To tell you the stuff that's not already written down, pretty much, or
Yeah,
that's
that tribal
complicated.
knowledge is huge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when you walk into a job. I walked into one, what was it, 2023? So we're looking at 5 years ago now, give or take. Where I can learn on my feet. I can hit the ground running and kind of go and figure it out. But the
Mm-hmm.
amount of tribal knowledge of certain systems that people have is just astounding, especially when they've been in the same role for 5-10 years, 3 to 5 years. Like, they've been in the same company, same organization, working on the same systems. They know
Yeah.
this shit backwards and forwards.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I judge people, though, is because if they have that tribal knowledge and share it, or if they hold it because they're afraid to lose their job.
Yeah.
That's when I judge my seniors and my engineers and things like that, and look at what they're doing, my pen testers, red teamers, and everything. Because you have, even on the red team side, you have responsible disclosure. If at no time you disclose what you have learned, other than a CVSS that's out there because you want to feel special, then what have I learned from you? Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. You're hoarding knowledge, and that is something I can never get behind.
Oh yeah. So Kev threw this out. Sorry, I keep seeing these things in chat. That some jobs require certifications or a degree.
Yep.
And like the only job that I know, like no kidding, requires a degree is to be like an officer in the military. And
Department of Energy.
Yeah, I could see that. Like government jobs where
I know. I was working there.
Yeah.
I was working as a contractor for the Department of Energy. They were hiring a full-time position.
Mm-hmm.
And not only do they require a degree, they require a certain GPA.
Oh yeah.
So I had talked to the guy. I'd known the manager, been working there for I can't even tell you how long, but I knew the shit backwards and forwards. I've been doing it for a living for a while. Did it in the Air Force. Had been doing it in the Air Force and the Air National Guard. And he goes, "Oh, you need a 3.6 GPA in order to get hired here." I said, "Get bent."
I didn't have that in college.
And he was like, or a CCIE, and I'll pay you 6 figures. I said, "Homie, I'm just graduating college this year. No, it's not going to happen. And I have no intent of ever getting a CCIE." He goes, "Well, then you need a 3.6 GPA." And I said, "Then get bent. You're not going to hire any good people if that is your requirement to work help desk for the Department of Energy."
Oh my gosh. Help desk?
Help desk. That's what it was. It was a help desk position.
Jeez. One in CCIE.
Well, he said he would hire me at 6 figures with a CCIE.
Oh.
However, the requirement for the position was a 3.6 GPA and a bachelor's degree. I was like, no. I think I graduated with like a 2.67.
You know the wild part? Like every military base across the country, help desk, your tier 1 is an 18-year-old with like no degree and no cert.
And they're all defense contractors. And
no, not all. No, a bunch of them worked for me. And
you have two different ones. You have your NOC, you have your basically permanent tier, which is your contractors they bring in. Or at least this is the way it was in the Army. In the Army, because in the Air Force, I was like you. I worked, especially for my Guard unit. I was the help desk. I was everything. That's what we did. In the Army, on active duty bases, you had your civilians that were there. And the reason they were allowed to do everything is because they were always there. They weren't going to get PCS. They weren't going to leave. They weren't going to do this. But they got paid like 2 to 3 times more than what we did. And so whenever I complained about how cybersecurity and IT and things like that were ran in the military, I got told, well, you need a different job. I said, okay, deuces, med board me. I'm out. I don't care.
Same thing.
I'm broken anyways. See you later. Like, you can lose. You paid over $100,000 for my education. I'm going to take it and put it to good use outside. See ya.
Yep.
But that's the problem with the military. That's a whole different podcast and a whole different conversation of the issues I have with the military, the government, and everything else like that, and the way they treat them. We're not going to get into it. But it does come down to certifications, degrees, all the nonsense that they do. We do have more questions here, so we're going to drop his, And we're going to go to Misha's first question. When you decide on your path, when do you think it's okay to ask for a mentor? Do you learn a little bit at a time, or do you do it as soon as you find your path?
I'll put this out there. If you're cool with me jumping on this one,
Mm-hmm.
like, as truth be told, I'll take mentees that don't even know where they want to be. I have a bunch of mentees who have no idea where they want to be. Even if they haven't even decided on their path, they're just like, I want to be in cybersecurity. It's like, okay, that's gonna be my first question. Why do you want to be in cybersecurity? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's driving you to this? Especially if there's someone who's been doing something else for a while. I often have the question of like, well, why cyber? Like, and it's fine, whatever their reason is. There's a couple people who've been like, you know what? I don't know. That's where money's at. It's like, okay, yeah, that's gonna be hard. You can get there,
Sure.
but
Did you see? Speaking of that, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Stacy Champagne,
Hmm?
who put out a post about people not necessarily chasing money, but expecting to get six figures as soon as they enter the industry. Me and her had an amazing conversation. I think it was yesterday.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I think that's one of the biggest issues. I did it to myself too when I first retired out of the Army. Now, granted, I had the experience. I thought I should have been paid more, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of people push themselves out of jobs because their salary requirements as just entering the field are like 100, 110, 120. And it's like, depending on the state you're in and the job you're applying for, you can't do that. A base level cybersecurity job, even right now, is like 80, 90 grand, if that, depending on where you're at.
Dude, like, when I got out of the Air Force, moved to Maryland, had to pay state taxes again,
That sucks.
and was
I
a
do that. Yeah,
contractor.
it sucks.
Like, with a bachelor's degree and an MBA, Security Plus already. My first gig was 125, which isn't bad, but when it
It's
came to
bad for that
taxes,
area.
I realized I had to pay more taxes, and my take-home pay was lower, or overall take-home pay was lower than the year before when I was in Florida, making
Yeah.
less technically. Yeah. And then I got my CISP, and it didn't take off from there. It just went up a little bit on my next gig. So like, that was, yeah, my first civilian job was just barely over six figures with
My
an
first
MBA.
civilian job
So,
was $65,000 a year.
yeah.
But they were like, "Oh, you get bonuses, but it's not like a guaranteed bonus. It's based on revenue, and you might get it, you might not get it. It really depends on how we do." And I said, "I can't pay my damn electric off of a maybe. Like,
Yeah.
I need my annual salary to be able to cover all my bills." And that's when I ran into issues with my truck, and yeah, I ran into other issues when I first tried out of the Army based on
Yeah.
that job. It killed me. But yeah, I agree
I
with
have a
you though.
friend.
Finding a mentor is whenever.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever. That one's another weird one. Sorry. The pay. I have a friend. She just got her master's degree in cybersecurity from WGU. And as a SOC analyst, she's getting like 40. So like, it can be rough. Like,
Yeah.
when you're starting out, there's no guarantee you're going to make six
I
figures
was
off the bat.
technically in management here in Pittsburgh at $65,000 a year.
Yeah.
I was a level 11 or whatever fucking title they wanted to put on it. It was a
Right.
civilian job. It was just the way the company did their tiers. Technically management, making 60 some $1,000s a year. So no,
Mhm.
I took the job because I needed a job.
Yeah.
Because in this industry you need the experience to then get better jobs. But my second
yeah.
job took me to 95, and then a year later took me over six figures. So it took me
Yeah.
3 years to be retired out of the Army with every damn letter after my name that is humanly possible. So for anybody that gets a Security Plus or maybe a one SAN cert and expects to be making 150 plus a year, I'm sorry, go live in California for that, where you're still broken on the street. Like that's not gonna happen unless you have the experience and a way to break in, or you've networked enough that somebody can bring you in at that rate.
Yeah.
It took me 1, 2, 3, roughly 3 or 4 years after retiring out of the Army and working civilian jobs to even get close to 150.
Oh yeah.
So just saying, it takes a while. You can't do it right away. And people that have been lied to and say it's possible, those are people that live in California, and that is the basically minimum wage.
Yeah. Hey, Jax.
So
Hey, David. Sorry.
Jax is here.
Decent.
Oh, nice. I love seeing Jax here. Jax is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
We have
So
some
I don't know where
plans.
James is. He says his base for cyber is more around 55 to 70. That sounds about right, depending on your state.
A lot of the country, yeah.
I will say this. With the exception of your FANGs, which so many people want to work at, your Googles, your Facebooks, or whatever, these big billion-dollar organizations, you can work remotely and get what their actual wage is.
Mm-hmm.
Google will pay you based on your state. And I know that because I argued with them and I said, give me California salary in Pittsburgh. And they said, no. So I said, no, it ain't never going to happen. But a lot of your smaller organizations and MSSPs and things like that will just give a flat rate regardless of where you live. And they'll put it on the job application now. We do that. Where I work at Stratascale, it literally is, we're going to give you, the range goes from this amount to this amount. And depending on your experience and this is where you're going to fall.
Yep.
So we don't lie. We don't hide it. This is what it is. Some people give their range and we're like, dude, I can't meet that. Like, and people that come in lower, like, dude, then you're going to get it. You're going to be happy when we give you your salary because it's going to come in a hell of a lot higher. Like,
right.
This stuff is put on the applications, is put out there on the job descriptions. It is what it is. But 55 to 70, that's not bad depending on where you're at. For a starting job in cybersecurity, it's actually pretty good as a junior analyst, and I'll even say junior GRC, to be honest. So, but yeah, so that, all right, let me unstar that one. When people ask a general question of how do I get in cybersecurity, how long do you tell them to wait to choose their direction, or do you tell them to start right off? That's for you, homie.
All right. So I always tell people to start aiming for something. There's some reason why they picked cybersecurity, whether it was like Mr. Robot or they want to be a SOC analyst or even for money. Whatever it is, go after that. Aim for something. It's one of those things. I see people bounce around and like they're trying this training and that training and this training and that training. And then they wonder why they can't get a job. It's like, well, you're legit a generalist. Like I do all sorts of things, but like you got to have at least like one thing that you're more than everything else. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't disagree because so when I started out, again, coming from the Army, a lot of our research, even my research growing up when I was in high school, coming out of high school into college, I did a lot of offensive security. I thought hacking, pen testing, I thought it was the shit until I learned there was a hell of a lot of paperwork behind it. So, when I came out, I had already had those certifications were easy for me. Every certification Sans brought in front of me, knocked it out. Not because it was easy, but because I had been doing it for years, so it was easy to me. The shit you learn is not easy if you've never done it. Putting that out there. Don't think that I'm just like some amazing. No. I have been doing research and learning for years, every day, 2 hours a night, without fail, if not longer. And so for me, the offensive side I loved. But what that translated to is when I started learning the defensive side, I was able to speak the language because I understood what I need to find. If I'm going to sit there and do a brute force attack, I need to be sitting there looking for somebody banging on the door with the same IP address over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. But I don't care about that. I care about that IP address now gaining access after failing so many times. Now I've got an issue. I've got something I got to be concerned about. So I care about the correlation. I care about how these things work together. And so Yes, I got my incident handler cert. Yes, I had my GSEC cert from SANS. Actually, I still have it till the end of the year. I have these things, but
Mhm.
it wasn't that. It was understanding that through offensive security, I can
Mhm.
now do blue team. But
Yes.
in order to do true red teaming, you need to understand the blue team, because
Oh
how
yeah.
can you actually go in silently? And I say true red teaming, not pen testing, true red
Mhm.
teaming, which is being silent. How can you do that if you don't know what your EDR
Oh yeah.
what your SIM tools are, what your firewalls and your Taniums and all these other things out there?
Mhm.
If you don't know what they are and what they can do, how can you hide from them?
Yeah. This is
And
the end of the second week for one of our teams doing a red team engagement, and they they had a foothold yesterday, and this morning they lost it. Um,
oh man, that's rough. So was it a restart and they didn't have persistence, or do you know?
I don't. I mean, but here's the thing. Here's what I can guess it is. Like it might have been Defender finally picked something up, or like Carbon Black noticed weird activity.
Yeah.
But it's exactly that. If you don't know what an EDR is and what it's looking for, and like how to hide, then you can't really like do any of that well.
And I'm gonna give a little bit of tidbit of advice for my potential red teamers out there. Your EDR tools hook into the kernel.
Hmm.
So hiding from them requires you to be very, very stealthy and be able to do things without triggering behavioral or machine learning or anything like that. Or somebody leaves something open that you can disable it. That's all I'm saying. Those are the only
Yep.
two ways. You're either good at what you do or you know how to shut it off.
Yeah.
And some of them out there, or some EDRs and some companies, will allow you to shut off the most sophisticated EDR on the market. They'll give you access to something stupid and you'll be like, and turn this service off. And I'm good to go. Now I can do whatever the hell I want. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Jax,
Yep.
I don't know where you're at, but hey, have a good one and I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds like she's in England.
yeah, it's 12:30, so I don't know where she's traveling to. But yeah, red teaming is rough because people confuse red teaming with pen testing.
Hmm.
I consider them two completely different things. There it is. A red team wants to be quiet. A pen test is going to use Metasploit, Nmap, any tool they can burp suite. You name a tool that is loud, noisy, and all you got to do is hit an auto button, and a pen tester is going to use it.
Yeah.
A red teamer, their goal is to get by all your defenses and not get caught. A pen tester is going to tell you, hey, I got stopped like 3 times and isolated. Can you turn this shit off now? Because my tools aren't getting by it, which
Yeah.
validates that they work against script kiddies, but not necessarily that they're going to work against an actual attacker.
And a lot of red teams will eventually get to a point where they ask for like assume breach,
Yes.
because like you want like we tried this and tried this and tried this and tried this and like failed. That's valuable. But then at a certain point, it's like, okay, what you really want is to know all of this stuff. So
Yep.
like we fished, we checked all the like publicly facing stuff. Now let us in so that we can do the rest, because you do care about that as well. Because just because we
Yep.
didn't find it doesn't mean someone else isn't gonna find it.
Yep.
Or that like you patch and it's a bad patch, or you add software next week that lets everyone
Supply
in.
chain, man.
There's always something. There's always going to be something.
And this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear, especially when you work in cybersecurity and work for cybersecurity firms. And you're like, oh, yeah, we can help, protect you, secure you, da 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 da. Nothing is 100% guaranteed in this industry. If
Mm-hmm.
any company, any tool, any vendor, anything comes out there and tells you, oh, yeah, 100%, da da da, you will not get breached, they're lying to you. It is a marketing ploy, because without the people, the personnel, the IR, the IH, everything. It's an entire process, an entire system. If that system isn't spot on, which none of them are, let's be honest, Facebook fucking went down, Google's gone down, Amazon's gone down. All these huge corporations have gone down. And you're going to tell me your small little mom and pop shop is going to be able to defend against someone sending a phishing link? Good luck.
Oh yeah. Man, one of my friends, they asked me to help source a web developer for their company, and they're doing well, but it's only like a couple people full time. They basically are middlemen for a couple organizations doing shipping. And I was sitting with like my friend's wife and my wife are close friends, and our kids are in homeschool co-op together. And we were sitting one day, and I described like all the things that could go wrong very quickly, and it scared the crud out of her. Like, and she's like, "How do we keep from being hacked?" And I was like, "That's not the question that I would want to answer for you. Instead, what will happen if you're hacked, and what can you prep for in case and or / when that happens?" And I think that's more valuable. What backups do you have? What's your process going to be? How much can you save or recover in a different way? And truth be told, one of the first things that we learned at cyber warfare school in the Air Force wasn't at all about networks or computers or security. It was about continuity, business continuity, and coming up with contingency plans and different COAs for maintaining continuity of operations.
And I think this is one of the only times, and man, it's going to cut me deep to admit this. I never want to admit this, but that is one of the things that the military got right that a lot of businesses fail. And the military got it right, and you got to look at continuity of operations. You got to have a BCP. You got to have, a DRP. You have to have all these things. And if that's not in place, then it doesn't matter what security tooling you put in place, because it's going to eventually fail. Yeah. Something's going to slip through the cracks. Some vulnerability is going to come out there. And when your shit gets pwned with ransomware, what are you going to do? I've got a company right now that I'm dealing with that I'm like, I got to figure out, homie, you went with a different IR company. I can't help you. All I can do is wait for that company to finally hand it back over to us so I can sit there and say, okay, let's bring you back up to full speed, because we've got to do a whole bunch of rebuilding. So again, BCPs, DRPs, all these things, that's about the only thing the military got right over the civilian sector in cybersecurity. Because in cybersecurity itself, the civilian sector, with their lack of needing clearances and all this other nonsense, will have the military beat any day of the week, and PT tests. Let's be honest. You need a PT test. Look, I am 255 pounds and 6'3". I could not pass a PT test to this day. But guess what? I could sit there and help you run your security.
Oh yeah.
But nope.
It is very, very true. Yeah, no idea what my mile and a half time is right now, and I'm happy with that.
You're probably like at mine, which is like, I don't know, about 12,
we'll get there.
13, maybe 15 minutes. You never know. And that might be on a good day. So we have a few.
I don't miss that feeling.
Me neither. I used to smoke before and after my runs. Don't get it twisted. And I'm still a smoker, so not running and then having to do that now, it'll be all bad things. So I know James asked this to me, but I'm also going to ask it to you. How do you recommend approaching someone to ask them to mentor, and what is different from that and when you just ask someone a direct question? So I'm going to let you handle this first, Josh, and then I'll take it.
Yeah. So like there's I'll go with what I've done for my mentors is, hey, well, truth be told, before I even send them a direct message, like I'll go with Neil. So Neil Bridges.
Great guy.
Before I started
If
DMing
you're not connected,
him,
Neil, connect to Neil. Neil's a great guy. Him and there's a few others out there, but Neil is definitely one that you want to connect.
Yeah, or Jerry. Before I started sending them messages directly, like I showed up on their streams. When they posted things, like I followed them and like put a notification on LinkedIn. So like when they posted things, like it would come up either first or I'd get a notification for it and participate in that conversation because I found it very valuable. Then it got to the point of like, this is more than what I want to ask in the comments.
Mhm.
This is going to be personal. And so then I was like, hey, Neil, I was wondering about, like, you made this post about this, and I kind of wanted a more personal answer than I think you would have expected if I had asked or talked to you in the comments. And he came back and was like, yeah, get on Discord. Let's talk about this. And that's kind of, truth be told, how that started. Is I had asked questions in stream, I had commented on posts on LinkedIn, and was on Discord, and it was finally like, yeah, get over here. Like, let's talk about like, what are your career goals? What do you want to do? Yeah. So, yeah,
that's the big thing I have found for me. So, and so this is where I'm going to tell you, James. Even my first few jobs outside of the Army, now I'm different. I am a whole different breed than a lot of the people you will see me talk to on this stream and in general. I grew up in IT. I grew up fixing computers. I'm 36 years old, had my first computer and fixed it when I was like 7, 8, maybe 9 years old with my dad. I grew up in this industry. I grew up when Wi-Fi came about and America Online and punters and all this other stuff. Been there. So for me, it's a little different, right? I didn't look for a mentor on how I get into the field because I didn't need a mentor to get into the field. I was already going to the military, knew what I wanted to do, and just followed my path and went with it. But what I did do, and this is what I tell everybody, whether it's a mentor or you're trying to find a job, I reach out to people and talk to them, figure out who they are, what they're about, what companies they work for. What can you tell me about the company you work for? I get in the nitty gritty. That way, when shit hits the fan and I need something like a job, I can say, hey, look, I'm looking for work. Do you got anything?
Mm-hmm.
I will not lie. The person I work for now, I've worked for twice before because A, he's prior military, so we had something to bond over. And B, because we had been talking since before I retired out of the Army. Mm-hmm. When I got my first job with him, it was because the recruiter came to me and was like, hey, we hire cyber military veterans and we place them in positions. All right, cool. What do you got? Oh, we got this job here, and the one person already knows you. And I was like, somebody knows me? Who the fuck knows me? I'm nobody. I'm literally just coming from this role. Been out of the Army for 6 months. What the fuck are you talking about? Actually, I've been out for probably about 8 to 9 months. And then I looked up who it was and realized that, oh, I've been talking to this man for like probably the past year since I knew they were going to med board me and put me out. I was like, I'm really bad with names, but because I had stopped talking to him because I had found a job, wasn't even thinking about it, didn't even trigger. And so I looked it up. And then I worked for him again after that. And then I worked for him again, well, now. And so these things just happen where if you develop a rapport, if you build a community, if you talk to people as humans and not something that you want something from, that is the biggest thing. You want nothing from them other than let's build a relationship. I know you're better. I ain't going to say better. I know you have been in longer than me and have more intelligence at this point, but help me get to your level. Help me figure out where I need to go.
Yeah.
That's important. I'd rather have someone come and tell me, hey, I don't know shit. Where do I start? Because I see this term thrown all over. Can you at least define cybersecurity for me? Instead of saying, hey, how do I get into cybersecurity? Can you define it? Can you put something behind it so that I know what to look for?
Yeah, exactly. And truth be told, I want people to DM me with, hey, how do I get started? Because for me, it makes me like, it's one of that self-reflection back on like the points that I want to have as a mentor. I want to be approachable. someone's willing to come up to me and be like, hey, how do I get started? Like, good. I'm putting out the vibes I hope I'm putting out. I want to be putting out. That someone can just come up and ask that. Good.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So yeah.
That's what that's the way I look at it too. Because I want everybody to know that they belong. They belong here. This is why I call everybody who watches my streams or watches the recording or any of the videos I do or responds to me on LinkedIn or on Twitter, or I am literally everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Yes, someone talked me into creating a Clapper account, although I think it's the dumbest freaking name ever for an app. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on everywhere. Anybody reaches out to me, it's because I want you to know you belong. This industry is for everybody. And I don't dislike anybody unless you give me a reason. And so for me,
and I can change my mind on that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people out there that I'm just like, I don't know if I like you. But then I start talking to them like, oh my God, you're an awesome person. All right, cool. Let's chat. Let's figure this out. There's others that I'm like, dude, you're awesome. And then we start talking and I'm like, maybe not. I don't know.
I think everyone has the potential to be awesome or super annoying. And truth be told, like, that can change.
But I'm
because I know I've been on both sides of it. Yeah.
Right? We're both open to conversation, and that's the thing. That's the kicker. I don't care who you are. Come to me, ask your questions. We'll figure it out together. This is a family. This here, I call everybody my warriors because you're all my family. I want the best for everybody here. And Josh is the first one to understand that because he was on over a year ago. I think it's been a year. It's been a while since he's been on here.
We'll do this again.
Cyber Supply Drop was the biggest thing you were offering. That was before INE. So you started INE and you didn't quit. You stopped promoting Cyber Supply Drop as you were going into INE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're still going. We're running we're quieter. Doing internal giveaways.
You're still my hashtags down below, by the way.
That's
Cyber
awesome.
Supply Drop is still there. So if somebody's looking for Cyber Supply Drop, you're gonna find his video eventually.
Awesome. That's killer.
I'm glad to know you guys are still doing it though. Well, I had seen you come out, I think it was this year. You had put out a post about Cyber Supply Drop. I want to say it was this year. It was either this year or near the end of last year.
Yeah.
That you guys were still doing things. And I was like, okay, good. Because that would have made me upset if he's not doing shit anymore.
Well, I took a little bit of a break. I didn't like close anything down, but it's all volunteer.
Yeah.
None of us are
like my show. Everybody that wants to do anything, it's all volunteer.
Yeah. So it was like, hey, let's people just got busy with stuff and Discord got quiet. And I was just like, all right, like I'm not gonna like put a ton of effort into this right now. We'll come back. We'll reattack later when I have energy for it.
Yeah, so. I completely get that. I'm actually working on some other projects right now for which anybody who follows me on a regular basis and views my shorts and views my TikTok or Instagram reels, they see kind of the other projects I'm working on. But yeah, same way. It's like we're attacking it hard now, but I can slowly see things that might fizzle out eventually just because we all have lives. And when you don't get paid for something, you're kind of like, all right, I'm gonna keep going and going until finally I'm like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah.
All right, I need to breathe for a little bit. I need to breathe. But we do have 2 more questions here.
Yeah.
We got some time, of course. This is my show. You know I don't fucking care. What is the best guide to use to create a cybersecurity specific resume? Lee, there's no stupid questions at all. I just despise that question. That's just me. I'm gonna let Josh take it. I despise that question, but I'll let Josh take it.
Noob Village, NOOB village.org/resumes. Everything, the template that I use that I got from Stefan Semmelroth when he made my first civilian resume for me.
Sephiroth? Was it Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII? Is that what you said?
No.
Oh, okay.
Though I have thought that myself.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'm not one to make fun of names. It's just really what it sounded like originally. I ain't gonna lie.
He's a West Point grad. He's a good guy.
That explains it. West Point grad. Okay, makes sense.
He was a recruiter back in the day, running his own company and sold the company, He's now at VP at Avant, doing good stuff. But his advice, I tagged on Neil's and Gerald Ozier's and Jason Blanchard's and Kip Boyle's advice, and done a couple career villages with alongside Kip and Frank Victory, his real last name, which is awesome. He's at Mandiant. He's a good guy. Yeah, so it's a lot of that advice on that page. So it's the template and the guide I use. newvillage.org/resumes.
I will say this: when it comes to a cybersecurity specific resume, I hate that term. It needs to be a job specific resume.
Yes.
Which I hate even more. I ain't gonna lie, I really do. Because I'm the type of person that writes my resume, sends it out to whoever I need a job for, which I don't do anymore. I only did that when I first retired. But that's what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was legitimately because whoever appreciates this understands that this is what I bring to the table and fuck everybody else. But it wasn't cybersecurity specific. I legitimately just looked up resume styles and the way they were formatted and things like that and put in the information.
Yeah.
That's all I did. I legitimately just took a resume style, filled it out. There's no, for me, unless you're including a YouTube channel or a blog link or your LinkedIn address or something like that in the very top header that gives me something to look at and go, I'm going to click that, but I'll type that in. I don't consider cybersecurity specific resume any different than any other resume. And that's why I don't really necessarily like the phrasing of the question, is because all resumes look the same for the most part. They should have the same things: who you are, what you're about, your education, your experience, and that's it.
Yep.
Like resumes here in the US, unless you're going for a government job, are not the same in the UK and EU. So the UK, the EU, and some other places, they call them CVs, and they want government style resumes. Give me every single bit of experience you have, and depending on what level you're going for, that shit better be 10 to 15 pages long. Here in the US, we want your resumes 1-2 pages, maybe. Yeah. Because I want you to put your most important information in the very top in the first 30 seconds. When I scan that resume, I better see everything important that's going to get you this job or at least this interview.
Exactly.
After that, if I like that, then I'll read the rest. If I don't like that, then I'm just kind of like, all right, cool, out the door.
I'll tell you, I cheat. My resume has never gotten me a job. My connections have gotten me jobs. My resumes, though, I tune them for the jobs by looking at like the job descriptions, taking like the phrases that they use, like a person who, I am a person who does, or if there's like something specific in there of like they looking for this, like I did that. Here, I'm gonna take that, pin it with like the exact case that I did, and that's now one of my bullets. That way, if they read through it, they're like, "Ooh, this reads like I wrote it." It's like,
so this is the flip side to that, and this is what I will say. As we get into, me, when I interview people, I don't necessarily do a technical style interview. I'll be honest, and I'll put it out there. I don't fucking care. I'm the one hiring you, so I really don't give a damn. The way I do interviews for me is I want to know who you are as a person. I'm going to ask a little bit about your experience. If there's something in particular that I need for the specific role, I'll ask about that. But in general, I don't fucking care. Because you're going to go to a board, people are going to ping you on the things that you stated on your resume. I don't need to know that because I'm going to sit there and I'm going to look at your profile. If you're not learning in public, then I need to know you're going to be a fit for someone I can interact with on a day-to-day basis that's going to understand that there's more to this role than, just point and click. I just got to do this all day and close tickets. That's not what it is. But the technical side is what my other managers and directors and things like that are for. Yeah. I could care less about the technical. I care about you as a person. I care about what you bring to the table, what you're going to bring to my team, what you're going to bring to all these things. And if you tell me you're a mentor, you tell me you're a teacher, you You tell me you're a consistent learner. Those are the things I care about that will never show up on a resume. Because if they do, then you're leaving something else out that's not going to get you through that ATS system that the recruiters, the HR, and things like that are never going to see.
Yep.
I care about that. And so that's what I'll ask you. So you want to get through one of my interviews? Tell me about what you do for the community.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
Oh, yeah.
Cybersecurity specific resume does not exist for me. It's a resume. It's going to show me the tools you use, the education you have, the jobs you've held, your name, and anything you've done in public, and I'll look for that. But
Yep.
I don't care about any of that. I'm gonna look just so I know, but I really don't care. I'll be honest. Me personally, I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Unless I'm hiring for a specific technology, I really don't fucking care.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. So you can keep talking. I got some more questions here. Holy shit,
Yeah.
man. They're gonna keep coming. So we're gonna hide that one. Get rid of that. We got AR. What mentor or protege made a mistake and wanted to give up? When mentor or protege made a mistake and wanted to give up, what do you do as a mentor or protege to keep going? So if someone wants to give up, whether it's you as a mentor or you as a mentee or protege,
yeah,
how do you keep going? Or how do you instruct others or help others to keep going?
Yeah. Man.
This is my lifestyle and this is what I do. So this is why I'm waiting for you to come up with an answer because I know how I handle it.
Like, you got to tie it back. It goes back to the why for me. Like, memento mori. Like, we could leave life at any moment. So we got to decide, like, what it is we're going to do with that. And so from there, like, what started you on this path to a new job or a new career? And has that changed at all? Like, if someone's wanting to give up, like, what are they doing instead? Like, is this something that, that we need to, like, how badly are they giving up? Like, do they need more help? Or is it just that this is hard and the change is they want to go for something easier? Because truth be told, nothing gets any easier. I've done a lot of things. All of them
Wait, it's
hard.
supposed to be easy?
Yeah, none. There's really nothing that's easy. We left that behind in high school. Like,
yeah, right. Dude, I get mad at my parents every day for making me become an adult. Fuck this shit. I'm done. I quit. Can I turn in my card? Can I get a refund? This is bullshit. I won't be an adult.
Yeah.
Get that out of here.
So
you're not wrong.
Yeah. Like, what is it that's getting you going in the first place? Let's refocus on the goal. Let's figure out what we're going after.
You know, I got to be honest. One of the biggest things for me is knowing your why.
Yeah.
Your why is the most important thing ever that's going to carry you through whatever. And if KevTech is still here, actually, I know AR watched this quite a bit, so he'll probably bring it up. And so I got my beer ready. On my Walk With Me podcast, as you all know, or anybody who hasn't listened or watched it yet, which is on YouTube and all major podcast platforms, that is one of the very first topics I talk about because knowing your why can get you through every obstacle if it is strong enough. If your why is money, and this is why I despise people who get in this. I can't say despise. This is why I have a hard time dealing with people that are getting into cybersecurity for money because it's going to take a hell of a lot of time, a hell of a lot of research, and you have to continuously learn, right? So when you hit that first obstacle, if your only reasoning for getting in is money and your base salary is less than what you're looking for, you're going to give up and quit.
Yep.
Why keep going? Now, for me, my why is, hey, I love this shit. I love what I do. I love cybersecurity. I love all that it entails. And then on top of that, I have the added bonus of, well, guess what? I can teach my kids it. I can help my wife protect their shit. I can help my kids. And I can look at my computer, and when my bit defender goes off and says, hey, you have 8 different warnings for people trying to use a botnet against your computer. Cole, did you block it? Yes. I don't give a fuck then. You did your job. I know what it's saying. I don't got to be scared. I can look at it, read it, and go, all right, we're golden. I wouldn't care. But for others, when it's like, if you don't have that strong enough why, your first impediment, your first obstacle, your first hard time, you're like, you know what, I quit. I don't want to do this shit no more.
Yeah.
Then that's when I look at you and I go, then we either need to rediscover your why, or you need to find a different career field.
Yeah.
Because this shit's going to be hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It will never be easy. Even now, for as long as I've been doing it, and I am now in management, and even still to this day, I wake up every morning loving what I do and going, this is such a pain in my ass. Let's get at it. Let's figure it out. We're going to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be boring if it was easy all the time.
Dude, I couldn't do an easy life. I couldn't do an easy job. If my back could take it to this day, I'd probably go be a wrestler or do something that required a whole bunch of fucking flippy flips, because fuck it, it'd be hard. And I just want to learn new shit. Let's go do it. It's great. I'll get my ass kicked for a living. Let's have fun.
Yeah.
I was in the Army. Screw it. Let's go. What's one more? Let's go have another job. Granted, the VA might get mad if I go try that right now because I'm 90% disabled. So they might be like, homie, are you really disabled? Like, yeah, I am, but they're going to pay for me to get fixed. So can I get mad? And I'm like the VA, they might give me the good drugs. I might be able to go wrestle and get the good shit. I don't got to fight through this bullshit. But yeah, man, it's crazy. My back can't take it. Also, I'll be a wrestler. Peter, if you're going to be a wrestler, you need to look up the Savage Gentleman. I'm just going to let you know. That's my boy. His wife is now on AEW, ROH, one of the two. She did her AEW debut, I think, last week. So I was there. I got pictures. It's on Twitter. Look it up. All right. So next question, of course, it comes from AR because my boy always asks questions.
Man.
What practices, hobbies, habits do you have in your personal life that help your professional life? How do you stay inspired when feeling burned out? Goes hand in hand. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah. Goes back to that why. Like, why are you doing anything? Why are you getting out of bed? And truth be told, if you get to the point where you're like, I don't know, that's a great time to take a vacation and do some soul searching and like, all right, what are we doing here? Talk to your significant other, like talk to your mentors, your shrink or your religious leaders, and like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. But yeah, I don't know. I've got a lot of hobbies that I do that aren't necessarily tied to what I do at work, but I also believe that like there's nothing that you do that isn't related to everything else you do. How you do anything is how you do everything. Marcus Aurelius quote. So
you love your quotes, homie.
I got a calendar of stoicism quotes right here.
I can get behind that though, because even for me, you figure when I first started my channel, when I first started doing everything, I had already been working in cybersecurity, was doing new videos every day, got burnt the fuck out. Like literally burning the candle both ends between editing. I do everything myself. So when you do everything yourself and you're working a full-time job, you got a wife and kids, you're sacrificing something somewhere. And actually that was, I'm a drink again. It was part of my Walk With Me podcast this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're burning the candle at both ends. And it's one of those things that you have to sacrifice somewhere, and you got to choose where you're going to sacrifice.
Yeah.
My hobbies are just getting away from technology. I don't care what it is. Well, I say technology, getting away from the computer, because there are certain things, and because of the way I live my life and the things that I do, I can't get away from everything, but I can step away from work. I can step away from everything possible. And then when I get the chance to actually take a vacation and say, fuck it all, I don't care about algorithms,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll do that. And that happens at least once or twice a year where I say, screw it all. I have a life. I have a family. Throw my phone in the trash. Well, not really in the trash, but turn all notifications off. And I don't respond to anything. I don't talk to anybody. I don't do anything. I am there for family. At nights, I'm usually there for my wife and my kids. But during the day is where people will garner. I give my attention. And again, it is because I've lucked out. Because I have learned how to get into the right companies, work with my time, manage my time, and be able to do videos on top
Mm-hmm.
of my full-time job. I mean, I have 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah.
This one and Walk With Me. And I can literally do those on the record Walk With Me on the weekends or even the night before. And I do
Mm-hmm.
this live once a week. But it's always after work. So other than that, my work doesn't get mad. And I've never once, actually, correction, there was one time. But prior to that one company that I don't speak about, no one's ever got mad about me posting on social media, on putting out a 1-minute video that literally took me maybe a minute, 30 seconds to create, and another like 30 seconds to like maybe at most 2.5 minutes to cut down to less than a minute.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Here you go. Post it, get rid of it, and I'm still doing my job.
Exactly.
I'm not taking anything away because it could have been on my lunch break. It could have been afterwards. I work all day. I'm in back-to-back meetings. As long as I'm attending everything, not
Mm-hmm.
really an issue. And so for me to be burned out, what I did is I started saying, and I will say this to everybody, if you have unlimited PTO, 1 week a quarter, cut everything off, get the fuck away. 1 week every quarter. Step away from it all.
Yeah. We're about to move into an RV and start traveling full time. So, yeah.
Man, if I didn't have 5 kids, you lucky son of a bitch. That's what happens when you have 5 boys, man. It just isn't possible. My kids would kill me if I did that.
I know a family that has 8 kids that does it.
I can't. My oldest got tired of moving. Actually, all my kids got tired of moving because of the Army. So I can't really do that anymore. Would love to. Well, we plan on starting to do that, especially now with this job. I got a better situation now, so trying to get travel more added in.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be a good idea. We need to make a nerdy, inspirational cybersecurity quote calendar. That shit would be hilarious.
That'd be interesting.
Make it happen. So, anyways, look,
it's gonna be a mix of stoicism and
we'll get JJ Davy in on her stoicism. I'll throw some Havamal quotes in there.
Oh yeah.
We'll have some cybersecurity nerd quotes. We'll be all right. We'll figure it out. People that have played Halo, fuck it, let's throw it on there. Oh man. But anyways, hey Josh, it's been great having you on. Before we go, any words of advice, anything you have for anybody that is trying to break in, mentor, mentee, you name it, just give some words of advice to the community.
Yeah, everything that you're imagining you can do. Another quote for you, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So, Henry Ford right there. So, whatever it is that you're trying to reach, let's make a path for it. Let's make a plan. If you don't have a target, get a target and then go after that. And then be persistent and be patient and you'll get there.
You've been watching my videos, homie.
I've been listening to your podcast. Walk with me. All right.
No, but you're right. And I will say this before we go. Look, hey, you are all family. You are all my warriors. Everybody that is here tonight, whether you were linked in through Josh or through me, I love you all. You're all family. All right. Understand this. We are here for every single one of you. No matter what you have going on, If you want to get into the industry, reach out, let us know. We'll walk you through it. All right. Josh, who is still the founder, I believe, of Cyber Supply Drop. You know, we do a lot of big things. I'm going to be doing more giveaways. I'm going to be trying to get Josh more involved and yank Cyber Supply Drop back into it
We can do
just
that.
a little bit because people love to help out, and that's what we do around here. So that'll be happening. Otherwise, look, hey, it's going to be an amazing weekend. I hope you all enjoy it. Take care. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy your Freya's Day tomorrow. Thankfully, I'm off work because I got to go to a graduation. And I will see you all,
Congrats.
amazing warriors, next week.